Ultimate Fighter Season 27, Episode 11 and 10 recap because we are some lazy motherfuckers. Now, Episode 10, right? Michael Chiesa comes in and he talks to Team Cormier. How come he didn't talk to you guys?
You know what? A few of the guys got to speak to Michael Chiesa, like off camera and like just kind of in the back, because he came in at the end of the Team Miocic training session. So we were finishing up and he was kind of coming into the gym. Cormier brought him in as a friend, to speak to his team. And yeah, like he spoke to the guys, but like for like a team thing, I think that, I don't know, they just brought Michael in to speak to those guys, But like Cormier was cool like that. Like even in the back, when he had that organized, like he saw me in the back and he was like, "Oh, Suman, come over here, meet Michael Chiesa," and he introduced us and things like that. So he wasn't like trying to hide him or anything. And even when he brought Rockhold and Max, he made sure that everyone got to meet these guys and speak to them and hang out with them. And Cormier was real cool like that. In the episode, it kind of looks like he like had Michael Chiesa for himself, but all those coaches and like some of the other guys like Jordan Burroughs and stuff that we've had come in, they were there to help everyone when we got the chance. Cormier actually invited us to a training session together once as well, and because he had a special guest coach. And everyone trained together, so that was cool.
Luke Rockhold, like,
yeah,
is he? Like how he has a image, right? Like, image is like he's just a dick. Like he's like that super dickhead motherfucker that walks around like he's the shit. But
completely.
When you talk to him, how was he like?
Completely wrong. Completely wrong. Luke's like super down to earth. It was the second time I met Luke. The first time I ever met Luke was UFC Sydney when he fought Michael Bisping the first time and he head kicked him. I was cornering another fighter from China, Jumabek Tuksherin. And I remember being in the back and seeing Luke Rockhold and just back then being starstruck, like never seeing UFC fighters and stuff. That was my first UFC experience. And we went to the weigh-ins and stuff like that. And he was always around. He was always real polite. Never really got to speak too much, but he was always training around us. And then after the fight, after the event, he actually sat next to me on the bus back to the hotel, offered me some watermelon, was like talking to me about the fights and stuff. And he was just super nice to me. I was just a kid that didn't know anything. I was coaching someone, like cornering someone, but like I just looked like a fan kid that was at the front of the bus. Super nice guy to me. He probably doesn't even remember that. And, and then the next time I met him at the Ultimate Fighter, he was exactly the same. He was super chill, super nice. And when the guys were talking to him and like, we're talking to him about like a situation or a story or something they've seen on Twitter, he was like real upfront about it. But like, you could tell he wasn't trying to hide emotion. Like we asked him about like the Yoel Romero moment, because I think it was a week after he got knocked out by Yoel Romero, and that he was at the TUF gym. And I think one of the guys said something about it. It might have been Giannetti or Pena who asked him, and they were like, "How did you feel after the fight when he was in your face?" And Luke like said, he was like, "Man, it was just stinging me so much more that I just got knocked out and I got this guy like screaming in my face, that he loves me. Like, how do you think I feel?" But like, he would like tell you exactly how he felt in his emotion. If he thought someone was a dick, like he thinks Michael Bisping's a dick, like he believes it, and he'll say it, But he was cool, and we got to even party after the filming was done. We all went out. We went and had dinner with Dana White and stuff, and then Luke Rockhold, Max Holloway, and all these guys, they came out with us as well. Luke's a fun time. Luke was a super nice guy to me. A lot nicer than like some of the other guys I met.
Yo, Luke, the best moment of his career is when he's sitting next to Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz is flipping on West Side, and Luke doesn't know what to do with his hands.
I think someone mentioned that as well. Someone mentioned that. But like, Luke was cool. Max was cool. Michael's cool. Like any of the guys that they brought into the house, like, were, man, I don't know, like you have to be around someone long enough to really know what they're like. But they were super nice guys to me. You know, I never had a problem with none of them.
Now, the fight on season 10, Brad Katona versus Bryce Mitchell, man, that was kind of a shocker because Bryce was winning that whole fight. And pretty much what everybody was thinking was happening. And then Brad just pulls out the submission out his ass in the third round. And it just shows you how good Brad is because he took out Bryce.
He did. Look, I feel like rankings aside, going into the Ultimate Fighter, in my mind, before I got there, Bryce Mitchell was the number one guy. Mm-hmm. I knew that Bryce would be on the show, and I knew that he was the number one guy. Like, from what I had seen, from the evaluations, obviously for me doing my research on Bryce, I felt like Bryce was the best guy there. And he's tough. What you learn about Brad over that fight is, look, Bryce, I feel like, had the physical advantages. He was a bit longer, and it kind of helped him catching. Brad, he was real aggressive in the wrestle at times as well, and he had real good sweeps from the bottom. What you kind of can see from Brad is he never gets himself in a position too far behind where he can't take over the fight again. You've seen that even against Kyler, when Kyler would like throw out some flashy kicks, it wasn't phasing Brad too much. He just stuck to his game plan and kept chipping away. I felt like what could be the difference between Bryce and Brad would be cardio. I felt like Brad maybe a bit, even though he's a stockier frame, was a bit better conditioned than Bryce. And you can kind of tell that by the way Bryce is after the fight. He was exhausted. And I think that was the thing for Brad. You know, he wanted to stay in Bryce's face, make him work, not like so much take beating to come back, but I felt like he was confident enough to say, hey, I'm going to keep chipping it away and eventually the finish might be there. And he's an intelligent guy and he pulled it off.
Yeah, because like most people thought that he lost the first two rounds. And then what had happened was Brad kind of knew going into the third round that he had to finish that fight, man. And he went in there and did that shit. He did the damn thing and fucking strangled Bryce. It shocked me. I was like, damn.
Brad, that armbar was fucking gonna snap his arm. I was like cringing. Like you say, Brad was a super cool guy, like a good friend of mine in the house. Me and Brad always had conversations. He was a genius. He knew everything. So I'd always have like intelligent conversations with Brad. But Bryce was my boy, you know, and I thought it was over on that armbar. You know, I was like, man, I knew that, you know, Bryce was doing a good job, but when I seen that armbar on, I thought it was over. And I feel like that was kind of the beginning of that. And as soon as Brad felt that bit of, I can still finish this fight, he jumped on it again and he got the sweep and got the rear naked choke.
Yeah, man. Now he moves on and he's waiting. Basically, he's waiting for the winner of Joe Cuccinelli and
Jake Cuccinello and Tyler Diamond.
Yeah, right? So, man, I'm thinking Tyler Diamond's going to win that fight, which is next week. But that's going to be a good fucking fight, Brad Katona versus Tyler Diamond. If that's the matchup. But remember what we talked about last time, that USADA list came out and someone got popped for some shit.
That's right. Tyler Diamond, or it could be Brad Katona.
We talked about it, so we don't know yet, right? We could see some
flip-flop. Hey, Brock Katona. He might have got pinned for the steroids.
Some shit from Europe, huh?
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy.
There's a plot twist next week. I come back into the competition, I win the whole thing, I'm in the finale.
And then you get popped for steroids.
I get popped for steroids. So like, how'd you recover from an ACL reconstruction so quick?
Bro, Like you
Yeah.
just had you got some like these shots from Russia or some shit right into your knee.
I want what China's on.
Yeah.
I want that Russian
Now,
shit.
episode 11, you know, you got Joe Giannetti fighting Allan Zuniga or Zuniga.
Yeah.
Man, let's talk about the fight, because the fight was like, man, these guys look like they're in two different weight classes, man. Like Zuniga looked like he was a flyweight.
Yeah, man. I didn't honestly. I did not notice that until I watched it on video. Like, so we didn't notice that big of it. Like, we knew that obviously thing was taller, but it didn't look like that much of a size difference in person. On camera, it looks like a huge size difference, but I think it's just kind of the way the camera was angled or something. Because when I was watching it, I was like, oh wow, they look like they're two completely separate like weight classes, but I didn't realize that until I watched the video.
Well, during the fight, Giannetti was just tagging him from distance, like basically sparring. He was like playing with him. And Allan, he couldn't do anything, man. Like it was just the skill gap was so large. It's almost like, what was Allan even doing there? You know, but there's always, every season, there's always guys that you think that shouldn't be there, right? So Allan is probably that guy in this season.
Look, reality of it is this. Reality is this. Allan was 13-0. Now, then people go back and they say, oh, but who is Allan fought? Right? And then you look at his record, and he's actually beaten some good guys, some ex-UFC guys. Right? Then myself, for instance, I never fought anyone. I've never fought anyone hard or anyone good because I just never did. The matchups that got presented to me, I just took them, and that's kind of what it was, you know? But I've never fought anyone hard. I went there as an unknown, and I know that a lot of people could say that. That was my first test, you know? That was my first ever test. Allan had been tested, right? He came into that house when we trained together. I've honestly felt like, I hate to say this, I honestly felt like I had amateurs at my gym that could beat him. Confidently. And I would think the exact same thing. I'd think, how did this guy beat all these killers before? How did he beat so many good guys? And then I started to think, okay, maybe he's one of those guys that like turns on, because training with him, I've trained with people who I train with, and like they're not very good. They go into a fight and they're superstars. So maybe Allan's the same. And I hope that would be the same, because when I trained with him, or I think everyone felt like this, even the coaches felt like this. You know, they were hoping he would have another level. That was kind of what he had in training. He kind of showed me exactly what I thought he had, and Joe kind of picked him apart. I don't know if that's a good thing on Joe's part, or what happened to the opponents before, or what, maybe something changed in between the time that he fought those other fights till now. But there was like a big skill gap.
Zuniga also looked like he was out of shape. He didn't look like he was in the best shape either.
I think that's just his body frame, you know. Allan was one of those guys. He didn't have the best diet. Like he didn't have the best diet at all.
Grape soda the week that he was gonna fight. When I was watching the episode, I seen him eating.
He would drink grape soda every day. Like his diet was horrible, but this was a thing that we told him as well not to do. Every single day, in the morning and at night, he would go in the hot bath or hot tub to lose weight, and he would dehydrate himself every single day. He walked onto the scales on weight, right? But he was depriving himself at times. Like he would eat stupidly, and then every day go and sit in a sauna for an hour, thinking that I'll just keep losing the weight. So he would eat crazy, but dehydrate himself all the time. Drink soda, but then dehydrate himself. He was ruining his body. Like he comes from a country where they're not very well knowledge. Like, I hate to say that, but like they're not exactly the most well knowledge country in the world in MMA. You know, and I think that maybe it was a big reality check. I'm hoping he got something to take out from it, but let's see. Now he's in the finale.
Yeah, let's talk about that, man. Like, I understand, like, how. Let's talk about Gunther first. Like, how does Gunther lose twice on the show and then get a contract to fight in the UFC when there's other guys that lost once and had better performances in a losing effort, and they still haven't been set up for a fight? And I'm pretty sure those guys are ready to fight right now. Or are they injured? I have no idea what's going on. And you should know better than me.
Everyone's good. Everyone's healthy.
So there's probably people at home right now, they're thinking like, what the fuck is going on, man? How come I'm not set up for a fight in the finale, but this guy is set up for a fight and he's lost twice on the show convincingly? Like, one was a complete beatdown, the other one was just a quick finish. But it was just like, I don't know. It trips me out, like, why they would match this up. And especially Zuniga, too. He didn't really show anything. He didn't show anything. Basically, he got fucked up, too, and finished.
Hey, I've seen that fight. If I didn't get a call, I'm going to shoot myself.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Not right now. But, like...
You're going to shoot your toe.
I'll shoot my toe. I'll harm myself in some way. Like, look, everyone was there for a reason. Maybe they didn't get to showcase what they got on the show. You know, I feel like everyone from the show should get like a final chance in the finale. And like, cause they only do a 1-fight deal in the finale. Whoever loses in that finale is out. You know, so why not? You know, why not like do a process of elimination? Yeah, they went through a reality television show and all that shit. They might have lost on it. But because of the experience that they went through and the popularity that they built, give them a fight in the UFC. Whoever loses is out. I'm cool with that. But as long as it's fair, you know, I'm sure right now that everyone kind of realizes, like, I'm not letting any secrets out. I don't understand why I haven't seen a poster of, like, Ricky versus Kyler.
Yeah.
You know, everyone knows that they're not one of those two guys. They're not going to replace Jay and Diamond next week. Like, one of them is in the final against Brad Katona. But, like, if you would announce Allan and thing, why wouldn't you announce Ricky? Ricky beat me.
Yeah.
He won.
Why would you announce Bryce?
Huh? Sorry?
Why wouldn't you announce Bryce to fight somebody?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you announce Bryce?
Or Dulani? You know?
Dulani. But, like, I was thinking, why isn't Ricky and Kyler fighting?
Exactly.
Kyler won the Contender Series in 42 seconds. You know, and no people are saying to forget about that. He had like a great center. Like, I know he didn't perform to everyone's expectations because they had high hopes for him going into the show. But, you know, why not give him a chance? He's a young kid that actually is won in the Contender Series. You tested him and seen him live. You know, he could have got a contract that night too, but he didn't.
Yeah, like even a fight, Kyler versus Dulani.
Yeah.
They both lost on the show. Let them bang it out. They both can strike. You know what I mean? Why not? Just let's do it. It's weird, like, how this stuff has come together. Maybe they're gonna blast at the last minute. You know how they blast everything at the last minute sometimes? They add a bunch of fights.
Maybe. But, like, I don't know. Like, we're not told anything. Like, we don't know anything. Like, so the producers don't, tell us anything. And all of us fighters, we don't tell each other anything. Like, you know, all the fighters are, like, they're on their own confidentiality thing. And they don't want to, like, I'm sure some of the fighters, maybe Ricky does have a fight. Maybe Kyler does have a fight. And they don't want to say it because they're worried if I tell the UFC or something like that. But, obviously, Allan and Gunther has been announced. Why wouldn't they announce the other matchups? Like, surely they could have announced a better one than that one first. They could have slid that one in at the end.
I thought this shit was Postergate at first. When I saw it, I thought it was poster game. I thought like Gunther like made a fake poster with Zuniga, and I was like, damn, this.
Hey, who do you think wins?
I think Gunther wins, man. I think Gunther takes it. I think Gunther finishes Zuniga.
You know why Gunther is fighting in the finale? Because he has a lot of his matches that weren't caught on tape. Did you see how many times he took down that tree?
Shit, yeah.
Every day, hours. Me and Tyler Diamond would just watch him tackle the tree all day, every day.
Yo, you guys went to the skating ring and you watched Cormier and Miocic play hockey with each other. Was that some whack ass shit or what? Let's be honest.
Listen, how the fuck do you get the first three in and then miss every other one of them? How do you choke that bad?
I don't know. I hope that's not like a, like a little hint of what's gonna happen in their fight, because I'm thinking like Miocic is gonna win that motherfucker.
Hey, DC is a great athlete. Great athlete. But, like, I watched Stipe spar. I watched DC spar, and I watched all those guys move. I'll tell you this much. Kane is a bad motherfucker. Kane is bad. But I think Stipe is too big, and he's a lot smarter of, like, fight IQ than people give him credit.
And he got wrestling, too.
Exactly. You know why DC wins? DC wins because he's a bully. He bullies fighters and wins. Oh, shit. Sorry. He bullies fighters and wins. He comes forward and he puts the pressure on them.
Yeah.
Now, I've fought up in weight before. I've fought as high as 80 kilos. 80 kilos is like, what, 180?
Something like that.
Yeah, 180 pounds. I've fought it as high as that, and what I felt like in those fights, and the reason I lost at like a 170-pound amateur fight. Why? When I was walking forward and a bigger person is there, it's much harder to move that object back. When the bigger person feels less, and it's very hard to bully that person back, DC likes to walk forward. I feel like he's going to find it very, very hard to bully Stipe. Who have you ever seen bully Stipe? I feel like Stipe's boxing is really good. He'll be able to wrestle a bit because at the end of the day, it's MMA. It's not the Olympics. We're not wrestling here. We've seen John Jones took him down too. John Jones wasn't the greatest wrestler of all time, but amazing wrestler for MMA. I feel like Stipe will be able to wrestle with him. Stipe knows that the single leg is coming. He knows that he's going to try and high crotch him, and he's going to try and box him. And I feel like eventually he'll catch DC. Don't be surprised if you see Stipe head kick DC.
Hey, when Kane was there, because it seemed like Kane was there a lot, and
he was.
Stipe was
Kane was there more than DC was.
And Stipe was there, right? Because that's the fight that people want to see. They want to see Stipe versus Kane. So when they were there, were you like, oh man, was there like a little bit like they were like scoping each other out and shit? Like they were like, did they talk to each other? Was there some kind of tension?
Kane is like, even though he looks scary and he doesn't talk a lot, he's like a super nice guy, and he like jokes around, and him and Stipe like had like a really good mutual respect for each other. You can see Kane is very different to DC. It was always DC kind of being like, oh, well, Kane's the baddest man on the planet. DC was always talking about Kane. And Kane was always quiet and humble. And Stipe and him just have a mutual respect. But when they were both standing next to each other, there was way more tension. There was like, I'm telling you, there was a spark in the room when Stipe and Kane would be standing next to each other. DC had to leave once for a couple of days. I think you would have seen that in one of the episodes. When he left, we had to do like a fighter walkout. And usually with the fighter walkout, you got Stipe at the front, and you got the other coach at the front, which is DC as well. When DC wasn't there, they asked Kane to be the standing coach. So Kane stood in, and I remember us all being crammed in there, and Kane and Stipe standing there, and I'm telling you right now, I felt at that moment like Stipe is gonna win, like against DC no matter what, because I felt like that fight has to happen. Like that, if Kane and Stipe, if Stipe beats DC right now, and Kane comes back, you know, and Kane can find kind of that form that he had before, like, you know, that good form, that pre-USADA form. If he finds that form again, I feel like it could be the greatest heavyweight fight of all time. Oh, it will be the greatest heavyweight fight of all time.
Yeah, I met Kane. I interviewed him when he came to Korea, and he's not that big, man.
He's not. But you got to admit, he has a big fucking head.
Yes, he has a big head.
But that's it. He's like, he's a little bit taller than me. He was only a little bit taller than me.
I think he's like he's about 6 feet, 5'11", around there.
He was a little bit taller than me. But, like, for someone like his build still, when I seen him moving around, he moves so quick. He would be one of the fastest heavyweights I've ever seen in my life.
So when I saw him and I was like next to him and I'm talking to him and I was like, damn, man, it's like you get more respect for him because he is a heavyweight. He took out fucking Brock, and Brock is a fucking giant, and the size that he's at, and he did it like that.
I think that Kane could fight at light heavyweight.
Yeah, that's true. If he just did a diet,
he walks around at like 240.
Most likely.
You know, there's fighters that are cutting from that. John Vellante cuts from 275 at times.
What the fuck?
Yes.
God
he told me about that. He was supposedly so heavy that Stipe tried to double leg him and hurt his back.
Shit, dude.
Yeah.
75 and he's light heavyweight?
Yeah, that's like 70 pounds.
That's crazy, dude. That's like a elementary school student.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck, man.
It's a whole kid.
It is.
Carrying.
So what do you think, like, next week, there's a twist? You said there is a twist next week. You just bullshitting us, or is that real? The twist could be a twist?
Hey, on The Ultimate Fighter, expect the unexpected. Listen. If there is ever an episode of The Ultimate Fighter you do not want to miss, it is this one. I can't say why, but you will thank me after watching this episode of The Ultimate Fighter.
Well, what we can guarantee is that there's going to be a fight. And this fight, I'm just saying, there's going to be a fight. Maybe I can't even guarantee that. Maybe I can't even, like this Richie Smolin fucking shit. Like, he didn't even fight. So there was no fight.
Before.
Someone might just slide into that spot, you know, like home base, without even getting any contact and shit. But, man, who knows, man?
Yeah. What's even crazier is whoever makes the finale next week on that episode might not even be in the finale.
That's right, with the USADA thing.
Why do you think Trezano and Joe Giannetti are in the finale? Because they won on the show?
No, but you know what else is crazy? Is that remember going back after you guys finished the show, they were in New York doing press for the Ultimate Fighter together, and they were the only one.
Yeah. Now, but here's the thing. How do you know one of them hasn't been injured and another person isn't filling in the finale already?
You never know. It could be Violent Bob Ross sliding in to take the spot, and then someone else slides into his spot against Smolin. You know, yeah, like you said, there could be some crazy shit that happens after that episode. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Hey, we don't happen in the 6 to 8 weeks or whatever since the airings happened. Anything could have happened.
Exactly.
Until they arrive in Vegas and they're on the scales, we don't know what the matchups are going to be.
Because a
Even,
lot
huh?
of the guys, they're not active on social media, so you don't really see what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm active.
Yeah, you're on there. You know, Bob Ross is on there, but
Yeah.
mostly
Me
the other guys are not.
Joe's pretty active. Joe Giannetti is pretty active on social media. Delani is, but like Delani's not. Like I don't know what the fuck he's doing on social media.
He's on like floss mode. Like he wants to
I
just pull some jewelry on there.
got like 15,000 followers. I'm like on like 4.5, and I'm like, how is this guy more popular than me?
It's called www.followers.com.
Yeah, I need more followers.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, man. So, let's shut it down. Next week is the last episode. Then after that, right away, it is
But now,
finale. Most likely, we might not have a podcast after the last episode, but after the finale, we'll definitely do a podcast.
you know why? Because it's gonna be crazy for me to watch those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll get emotional watching those guys fucking weigh in and do it. Because I watched them weigh in the house and go through the journey. Watching them because we all got to speak about our dreams and fighting in the UFC in that moment. And I wish I was there right now, like able to fight. I wish I was able to fight, but I'm not. But seeing all those guys be able to kind of like live it out, it's gonna be like a pretty cool experience for me. And I'm a bit more happy that I can kind of watch it from home.
Mm-hmm.
I can watch it on TV. I can watch it how like the fan is watching it, how people would be watching it. So I get to live as a normal person watching the guys that I was in the house with fight. So I wish them all the best, and I just hope they all go on and put on a good show.
You should just go live on like Instagram or something during the fights, and then just
You know what?
post up your phone and go live, and then just do
Yeah,
reaction.
reaction. Yeah, all right, that's cool. That's a pretty cool idea. I think I'll do that.
You should, and then just invite everybody onto that shit. Just tell people you're gonna go live, and then they could ask you questions, and you could do the commentating live.
Better build.
Exactly. All right, let's shut it
All right,
down, and we'll talk soon, man.
sweet. Take care, brother.
Peace.